they're going to play well.
I think since, as Azrael said, some of these players actually haven't played on stream yet, so maybe there's a little bit of nerves going into this. But JR's team definitely had a warm up from last week, so a little bit more going into this. But I think this is anybody's game. Like some of these players, like Matt, has been in Havoc for a very long time, so no nerves from him.
It's definitely weird seeing Matthias play in regards to playing in Academy. He's been in main league for so long, and to find out he's a sub rather than an actual starting member, it's still very weird to even see on the field from a casting perspective. I've been casting him now for a couple seasons, so it's definitely very confusing to see him in the Academy League, but hopefully the experience and veterancy that he has will help lead his team here to at least a couple game wins.
It could just be a sense of, since he's been main league for so long, maybe just a little bit of burnout, and just knowing that he got a couple close a couple times, but he really never made that push for like top 4 material in main league. So I guess maybe a little bit of burnout, maybe a little bit of not getting where he wanted to, and maybe not having the will to actually grind out. But he's not playing again, and we're seeing him on the field again. This time in academy, but we'll see what he can do.
Exactly, and actually, Matthias has gotten one Havoc tournament win under his belt. In the offseason between Season 4 and Season 5, we had a 3v3 double elimination tournament, and Matthias's team actually won that over Team White. So maybe he has the experience and knows how to win, but here we go. Finally, a minute and 15 seconds in, we get JR scoring the first goal.
Definitely from last series, which was basically goals every 15 or 30 seconds, and we have actually a minute and seconds passed, and we just got our first goal. So this game definitely closer. And 15.
Gibbous taking possession here in his back corner. Now going to be back over to Pasta. Matthias trying to maintain possession. Gets the ball past one. He actually loses the 50 down to Gibbous. Ball's going to get over to the and across. Now back to Bob the Builder. Into the air. Over to Matthias once more. Gets out 50-50. Gibbous looking to rotate back. That's going to be another whiff on the backboard. It's still only a 1-goal lead, but at this moment in time, Team Black are looking strong, and JR off the 50 from Cannoli will get a second goal on the board.
I think JR is
Here we go. 2 minutes left on the clock. 3 minutes left on the clock. Cannoli looking to try and set up a pass right off the kickoff. JR looking for a hat trick right off the bat. Isn't able to get it this time. It's now going to be back into the hands of Gibbous. Ball back into the corner. Over to Pasta. Pasta looking for a pass mid to Cannoli. It's going to be saved away. And Bob the Builder is going to be the one there to clear the ball away.
Bob the Builder not going for a 50 with JR. Actually wins it, which is going to push the team on the offense. Team Aqua have only had about 2 shots in, compared to the 3 that Team Black has. So actually almost gets the read on this, very close. Would have been a very highly real shot from him. Maximus now in the corner, gets dunked on by JR. Couldn't find the accuracy in the net though. Still on offense though. Gibbous trying to play the ball into the corner. Actually misses it. Boston Varian going for a shot. Now ball plays back into midfield. Ball the Builder misses the boost, and Maximus will bail him out. Booms the ball downfield. Jerry now playing the ball in midfield. More of a ping pong now. Showing his mechanics off. Jerry actually gets past one, but Bob the Builder saves him.
Here we go. Matthias doesn't take possession, ends up clearing the ball away, and it allows the other team to keep pressure. JR looking for the double tap. It's going to be a pass down to Cannoli instead. And with half the game left to go, 3-0 to Team Black.
This is what we want to see from JR. He is just leading his team in this off.
There we go. 3-0 now. The score line. Ball is back solidly in Team Black's court at this moment in time as they keep taking possession and looking for goals. The pressure is outstanding right now. And Matthias, even though he does look like he's one of the better players on the field, we do have to compare him to the likes of his teammates. His teammates are definitely not low ranked, but we do have to remember that this technically is a C1 versus a C3 matchup, so we do have to see how these teams are going to continue to perform. It's not impossible for Team Aqua to get the win, but Team Black are definitely not going to let them have it easily.
Definitely, I think the standout players in these teams would be Matthias for his team, which is Team Aqua, and JR for his team, who has had a 100% goal participation, 3 goals, 1 assist, and 5 shots.
As you said, 100% goal participation. JR is the one who we're going to be looking out for, especially when we get to that promotion relegation tournament where Team Academy Black tries to push forward, and it looks like we're seeing that it looks like one of the players want to get a better server, so maybe after this game we're going to take a little quick tech pause to get a new server. But overall, both of these teams looking very solid at this moment in time. It just looks like Team Black are just a step ahead.
Definitely, I think Team Black to have come out the gate swinging that extra practice from last weekend is definitely showing. And maybe it's just basically a warm up game for the other team. Maybe they're just trying to get into the groove, see how this team plays. But this is definitely going to play into the confidence of Team Black.
Matias gets a doink. It's going to end up being a pass to Gibbous. He looks at the shot. It's going to be wide. And as this game winds down, they weren't able to get to it. And now we're going to be over to Bob the Builder. Bob the Builder loses the ball back. And ball's going to be back into the court of JR. JR isn't able to get back to it. This might be a chance for Team Aqua, taking possession down the field. Here comes Matias, looking for a pass mid. Ball goes out mid. Bob the Builder looking for the shot, but with the defense from Team Black, the ball's going to be cleared across.
I think this game is definitely heavily in the favor of Team Black. And again, Team Aqua is just, they're trying to see what they can do. And kind of like the last series, a little bit closer scoreline and definitely closer teams. But we have two standout players. You have JR. You have JR, who's the standout player for his team. And then I'd say Matias, with just his experience and his long time playing in Havoc, he has to lead this team and basically just try and help them for like what they can do.
Ball's going to be back on the other side, but it looks like we might have a shutout here in game number 1. Team Aqua still yet to have scored a single goal on stream. But the ball's going to be...
How he plays, what position he likes to play, so you really won't understand how he plays until you actually play with him. So I hope that it's positive for them because I want to see a good series. And with Team Black taking the first series and no goals being scored, they definitely want a positive sub going into the next game.
Exactly, and Papa Dragon plays a lot slower than the counterpart he is replacing. But here we go. That's already starting off really well there for the likes of Team Aqua as they start off and try to get a goal. Just isn't able to do so. But now the Pasta is going to take the ball over to the corner wall. Isn't able to get the touch he wants, but he 50s it out, and Papa Dragon already stepping up strong. But Team Black already looking like the pressure is on for their team.
Definitely, I don't see any gandering flaws with this team, so that's good because with some subs you might see just a little bit of positioning mistakes, like one person will try to play the same position, which it never ends well. Now, an air play, I like to see that from them. They're actually getting in the air, and at a full field of air dribble from Matt, really showing his experience without Havoc.
Exactly, and now it's just going to be up to both these teams to get used to each other once again. But Matias is going to be the one getting the first goal on the board, of course. But Team Black, they're going to have to try and adapt to a team that may be reinvigorated as they have essentially a second chance here playing with the new person.
Definitely. I also, again, are on West servers, so that could be a positive or negative effect for any of these teams because we do have about an average ping of around 70, but that doesn't matter. They get another goal. Bob the Builder really showing why he's on this team.
Exactly, Bob the Builder doing his best here, but getting the goal off the demo from Shadow Dragon, though. Shadow Dragon already stepping up here early on in his first match of the day. However, Team Black are definitely people who adapt very quickly, and we can definitely see them come back in game number 2.
Definitely. Now we have Papa Dragon going for a flick under the net. He's definitely he's more of an offensive player right now, but he's just filling any role that he can, really. He can do anything, and see another attack from Team Black trying to get the ball into the net, and a pre-flip from JR with the pass from Pasta. He gets the first goal, and they have cut the lead in half.
Looks like JR also side flipped and back flipped initially, but he still managed to get back to it with the pre-flip, and they managed to get the game back within 1. Team Black definitely not looking to lose this game here. They want to try and get it earlier. Apparently, JR is going to be going go-karting after this, so hopefully he has fun. But of course, he wants to give himself as much time as possible trying to get that sweep. We'll see if that ends up affecting his mentality as we go throughout game number 2 and even game 3.
Yep, that could be more of a positive or negative effect because he wants to finish this game out, so he might play worse. He definitely did not get the save there, and Papa Dragon showing an impact. He's already got the demo for 1 goal, and he's got the shot for the other.
Exactly. Look at this here from Papa Dragon. Pops it off the crossbar, and they're overall continuing to do a great job putting on the pressure. But now it's going to be up to the rest of Team Black to step up. They always rely on JR to do a lot of the control, but they have to be able to open up space for JR if they want him to really use his mechanics. And if Cannoli and Pasta can't do that, then we may see Team Aqua run away with game number 2.
Definitely. I think Team Aqua, definitely with Papa, I'd say he's more of a... Well, from what we're seeing right now, he is the X factor that they needed to get them back in. They have a 2-goal lead from previously having no goals. So definitely a positive change within the substitute.
Ball's going to be back in the hands of Team Aqua, but Matthias ends up clearing it away. JR half flips into it, giving it away once more. Papa Dragon taking possession, really trying to do some higher level thinking and strategy, taking possession rather than booming it away, and it almost led them to getting another goal. Papa Dragon off the backboard, pinches it all the way down the field, over to Pasta. Pasta clears it off the side wall. Now back over to JR. JR off the backboard. Looking for the follow-up is Cannoli. It's off the backboard once again. Bob the Builder will get the touch, and it's going to be saved away once more.
So Luke, what do you think? Do you think Papa Dragon is the change that actually got this team to actually be able to compete with this team, or do you think they always had it? They just weren't really performing in that first game.
I think they always had it, but they needed to get one goal on the board, and it just so happened that Papa Dragon ended up being the reason that they did get that first goal. But overall, I think they just needed that one spark to light that offense, and that's what we're now seeing: just pressure, pressure, pressure. And it's not just Papa Dragon. Matthias is now taking possession, and Bob the Builder is doing well as well.
Definitely, I think it's not just a one-man army. It's not just Papa doing everything. He has assists from his teammates and everything. So definitely, I think they did have it in them. They just had to get that one goal to spark their mentality, because Rocket League is definitely a game, but half of the game is just mentality. How you're playing on the day, how you're feeling, being able not being able to get tilted after goals, and keep being able to stay in it even when you're down.
There we go, JR last on defense again, ends up not being able to get a good touch, and they actually team pass the ball out of their goal box there. Very risky situation there for Team Black, but now a minute and a half left to go, and Team Aqua looking poised to take this the second game here.
I think if Team Aqua win this game, that's definitely a statement that, hey, even if you beat us the first game with no goals, we can still come back and even win some games. And so this definitely shaping up to be a close series, and a lot closer than the one we had before.
Ball's gonna go off the backboard. Still, JR looking to find a way through the goal, but honestly, this is where, even though JR's mechanics are very, very solid, he's a low GC2 to very high GC1. So we do see him be able to put the ball in the back net. He has the mechanics, but he's definitely nowhere near the likes of Team White, Team Cyan, and everything like that, as we can see, because in the end, he's trying to force the ball through. He's not finessing the other team, and that shows maybe his lack of smart experience, even though he has the great mechanics.
I think definitely that last goal that Team Black just scored, it was more of Team Aqua making a mistake instead of Team Black actually finding a way to get through this defense. So other than their mistakes, almost an own goal, but they recover. Other than the mistakes that Team Aqua is making, Team Black really in this game haven't been able to find as many goal opportunities and scoring opportunities that they had last game.
Indeed, but now Matthias popping the ball off the sidewall. Cannoli looking for the follow-up. He does get the backboard touch. Going to open up a little bit of space for them, but no one on his team followed it up. Papa Dragon looking for a shot. We, of course, saw last week Papa Dragon with probably the clip of the week with the ceiling shot and double tap in the Academy League, and he has a clip already, but maybe he can be the hero. Maybe he can be the hero sub that leads them to at least getting a game win. 15 seconds left on the clock, and if they manage to keep this lead here before they get scored on again, that might be a hold on 1 second. Caster Curse. 3-3 the scoreline now as JR steps up to a major level.
He is a one-man army. All three goals from the hat trick in the final seconds of the game to bring his team into overtime. This overtime is a game changer. This is setting the pace of the game. Sorry, who will basically win this game not win this game because anything can happen, but from now on, this will give a major advantage to anybody who wins this overtime, if we even go into overtime.
Exactly, but here we go. Matthias looks for a long shot. No one on his team is going to be there, and here's the first overtime of the night. Benji, who do you think is going to take this OT?
I really want Team Aqua to win this, because Team Aqua win this, they will have a very close series, and it'll be more of a statement from, especially JR, who is literally carrying his team on offense, that you can carry as hard as you want, but you cannot carry to win.
Exactly, but here comes Matthias looking to try and get the pass out mid. Playing it slow, but Cannoli will clear it across. Now back over to Pasta. Pasta pinches it forward, and Bob the Builder's going to keep the ball on offense. JR gets a very solid 50-50, looking to maintain possession, gets a pass too, but Matthias is going to try and get the ball cleared down the field. Matthias looking for the solo play, couldn't get it past Cannoli. Here comes Bob the Builder, gets beat though by Pasta, and Cannoli will try to keep the ball to the side to maintain possession. Looked for the Cuxer pinch, but he's just going to bounce off the wall, looking all silly-like, but Pasta is now going to be the one tasked to get the ball onto the offense.
Now Team Black trying to get an offense, gets a shot, and JR sneaks it in. It was a close game, and they definitely showed fight. But Team Aqua did lose the game. Very close game, though. 1-goal game. And now, 2-0 in the series would have to be a reverse sweep from Team Aqua. And I think they have it in them.
I think they have it in them as well, but or will Team Aqua get the reverse sweep, making it so Team Black have to go to the lower round of the Swiss. I don't know who's going to get this win here at Benji, but I think it's going to be exciting nonetheless.
So I think this game will be a lot closer than the first game, and even closer than the second game, which the second game went to an overtime. But these teams are pretty evenly matched. Though the first game, still playing with a sub, and that was the first game with the sub. So basically a judge of pace to see how they would play, and they even kept it very close. And Papa Dragon now booming the ball downfield, going for the airplay. That's what I wanted to see from this team. I wanted to see them get in the air, get creative with the air. And as soon as I said that, Matt actually scored an air dribble goal across the field. So definitely asking or matching the team. But JR with an incredible shot, a flick to the top corner from the corner. What a great shot.
Look at this from JR. He's now looking confident, and if you give a mechanical player any kind of space and any kind of confidence, that's when you fail. I mean, we saw Pixacar manage to get his first ever MVP. Everyone regards him as probably one of, if not the best player in the Havoc main league, and he's never gotten an MVP just because you expect him to play good. And he actually got it last week. Just the other team, Esports Pink, even though second seed, they give him a little bit of space, and oh my goodness, no one could stop him.
You could not stop him that night. And you get, especially when we talk about the mechanical players, these mechanical players are, you think they'd be rare in these ranks, but we're seeing more and more mechanical players. And what a shot from Papa Dragon, really capitalizing on the miss from Team Black. But as I was saying,
it was JR who whiffed as well. Look at this. JR ends up just completely whiffing the ball, and it's going to go in the back of the net. Just shows you that if they want to play a playstyle revolving around the mechanics of JR himself cannot falter.
I think some of these teams who are trying to just have that one-man carry will not work because you are so dependent on that one player to just play incredible every single week that sometimes you're going to have a bad week. And so you can't be so dependent on that one player.
Exactly, but now it's going to be back into the hands of Team Aqua to try and see if they can actually solidify a game win this time. Ball's going to get cleared across over to Cannoli. Cannoli pops it up high. It's going to be up to Papa Dragon. Papa Dragon looks like he was intentionally trying to Doomsy dish it into the back of the net, but his teammate will get the save. And Matthias will try to clear the ball down the field, but it's over to Pasta, who will now fake it over to Cannoli to get the ball on offense.
2 minutes into this game, we have a tied series. Not if JR can get the double touch into the net, barely misses it, but a setup for Cannoli, and Cannoli is there. Great positioning from Cannoli, and an even better double touch from JR. Just barely misses the net, though.
Exactly, but here we go. 3 minutes left on the clock, and they got the lead once again. Team Black looking to take it on the West server, trying to do their best to get this sweep going, so of course JR can go-karting. But here we go. I cannot wait to see how the series goes. And looks like we got a message in chat here from MexKid. As an old-timer, I think teamwork is the best work, and that is very true. Even rank B teams are able to beat pro teams in tournaments if they got a good strategy and can be confident. And even though we're not having rank B teams versus pro teams here, we're looking at academy teams. It's the same type of instance. And we see that right now. We see the teamwork coming out of Team Aqua, even though they're playing with a sub, and it's allowing them to keep it close in the series, even though most people would consider JR and his team very mechanical.
Definitely, I think the individual effort is still there from Team Aqua, but they do have more of a team-based playstyle where every player is involved on defense and offense on transition, and it's not really the same thing with Team Black, who just have JR just absolutely, he is trying to play everywhere, saves, shots, and transition. He is everywhere for his team, which will work most of the time, but when he can't get those hits, especially with that goal where he just whiffed on the goal line, it's not going to work out.
Exactly. But now it's going to be back into the hands of Cannoli, looking to bump and demolish his way through the defense. Cannoli looks for a fake pop, isn't able to get the touch where he wants it to go. And now JR will try to put the ball off the side while no one on the team's there for the follow-up. Ball's going to go high off the backboard. No backboard read coming out from the defense. JR ends up not getting the touch. The ball's still in front of the goal box, but Cannoli is going to get a solid enough touch to clear the ball away. Matthias looking for a double tap, isn't able to do so, and JR will clear it away once again.
I think we talk about JR a lot as the first offensive man, but I think Cannoli is kind of the Loki in the Azrael relationship, where you have Azrael just absolutely killer on offense, and then Loki always there for him, passing, being there to finish his shots. So it's always good to have that in the team dynamic. But what a pass from Papa Dragon, and Matthias just knows when to attack and shoots the ball right into the net. No defenders.
And you can tell Cannoli's mad about that one. He's probably confused as to why the heck they were double committing on a team pinch like that, and the ball just launches over his head. Those are always the depressing goals that go in. But if they can keep that mentality up, they were able to come back in the last game. So now the question is if they can do it again. Papa Dragon back over to the mid. JR looking for the shot. It's going to be saved away, and it's going to be up to Matthias, who will look for the solo play.
It just depends on how much JR is willing to give to go-karting the fastest he can, but it looks like a 2-goal lead now. Matthias is the impact player for his team. 500 points for him now. Another goal from him. Another double quit from these guys as well. They both went for it and confused Pasta Man.
Indeed, he definitely confused Pasta Man. However, we've seen this exact scoreline before, and JR carried his team to that win. So can he do it again, or will Team Aqua actually take a game win? It's pretty much solidifying Team Sapphire as the top team in Havoc, at least as of the Swiss stage.
Definitely, I think a Swiss stage is not the best judge. We might want to wait to the playoffs, but it would, at the moment, to solidify these teams. If one gets a sweep and one does not, it will show this team has what it takes to be consistent throughout an entire series.
JR puts it to the side. Cannoli booms it off his own backboard. Bob the Builder actually couldn't get a read on it, so now it's going to be back over to JR. JR looks for the shot. It's going to be saved away. JR puts it mid again, but no one on his team is there, and Team Aqua will stave away the offense once again. However, Cannoli back in the air, centers the ball over to the midfield. Back over to Pasta. Isn't able to get back to it, and now JR will be the one with possession in the offensive corner.
JR tries to get a hit. He's playing a little bit more aggressive. He really must want to go-karting, but it's not working out for him. Sometimes aggression does not lead to a goal immediately. We now have Matthias trying to get a shot. Actually whips it though. JR goes for a shot downfield. Papa Dragon cuts him off midfield, just wasting time off the clock. They know how they have a 2-goal lead. They just have to burn time and not let them score. JR tries to go for a shot, but barely misses.
JR once again passed the ball mid. It's going to be a double commit from his two teammates, but as we can see, JR has stopped taking possession. As we can see, he has mechanics, but again, the smarts are failing. This is why some people were confused as to why our system allows, for example, a high GC1 in Academy, and it's because one of our rules is if the teammates can be within 2 ranks, and both of his teammates are C3, C2. So it's definitely something that they have to take into consideration, and as you guys can see, they can still lose a game, even with the mechanics of ball back out to the kickoff. Ball's going to get taken away by Pasta. Pasta to the backboard. It's going to be followed up by Papa Dragon. He isn't able to get back to it. However, Cannoli's not able to get the read. Now back over to Pasta. Pasta into the back corner. Now back over to Cannoli. Cannoli into the air, looking for the air dribble. Passes it down. Gets past one. Can he get it past all 3? No, he cannot. And now it's going to be up to Pasta to try and keep the ball on that offensive side of the field.
Very close game so far, only about 20 seconds in, but Matthias is being a clutch playmaker on it. I think he already has 2 saves. Definitely, yep, has 2 saves. Now back on offense. Pasta trying to pass downfield. Passes to Jerry. Jerry goes for a 50, but gets beat out by Bob the Builder. Now pass to Jerry in the corner. Pass down mid. Actually goes for a shot. Barely misses off the post. Pasta goes for a shot, and Pasta puts it in. What a great pass from Jerry. And this is
That's what we like to see, Benji. That's what we like to see. Getting the ball right off the crossbar and the follow-up. We're finally seeing the confidence come back in the legs of Team Black. Benji, is this what you want to see out of Team Black? And if it continues, what does Team Aqua have to do to stop it?
This is what I want to see. We haven't really seen these full team plays, and we saw a pass from Cannoli to JR, then JR passes it to more of a shot pass, but he shoots to the net, and Pasta is there for the rebound. So all team members involved, and this is what we want to see. This is what we want to see, these team plays happening. And if they can keep this up, then I don't think Team Aqua can react to it. But they have to keep their nerve and keep control and make sure they are not getting these goals, because they've had a couple of goals that just shouldn't be goals. They've had a couple of misses on the goal line, a couple of double commits, and these, if they can neutralize that, they can definitely win this game.
However, I don't know if you saw that, but Papa Dragon actually saved their teammate's shot. Team Black whiffed on the back goal line, and Papa Dragon ended up saving his teammate's shot. So that's definitely going to be put down in the mentality for Team Aqua, even though they just won the last game. But Team Black definitely looking strong right now, definitely probably laughing that they didn't get scored on there in that last moment in time, and are continuing to look for that offensive push.
Yeah. I think the most dangerous players are the ones that just are relaxed. They are laughing when they're playing. Those players, they have no fear. They're not nervous or anything, so they are the most dangerous. And it's better to have a good relaxed team base, unless you have, or if you have instead a like just stressful team based thing where you're always like mad at each other, which you don't want to do that because they're your teammates.
Exactly, but now JR looking to take it slow, looking for the 50-50. It's not going to be able to get past Papa Dragon. Now back to Cannoli. Cannoli looks for the shot's going to be right in the middle, and the ball's easily going to get cleared down the field. JR looking for the follow off the wall, isn't able to get back to it, but now it's going to be back in the hands of JR. Ball back over to Papa Dragon, passes the ball mid, but Cannoli taking possession. Look at the ball, the whole team! He gets the 2-goal lead.
The BMW flick, that was crazy. Papa Dragon actually got a little bit of a weak clear, maybe a pass, but Cannoli took advantage of it. Took two controlled touches and popped the ball top shelf. What a shot.
That's, oh my goodness, that right there. Those are the mechanics we love to see out of these academy level players. The Dominus hitbox, all you have to do is side flick. That wasn't a 45-degree flick, that wasn't a 90-degree flick. That's literally you hold right on the analog stick and jump twice. And there we go, Pasta getting another goal right at the midway point. 3-0 now for Team Black. They may have lost a game, but Team Aqua are going to have to now scramble back by 3.
And what an angle from Pasta. He is he has confidence in his name, knowing, hey, I can shoot from here. Some of the lower level players wouldn't think they could shoot from there, but he just got the flip properly and got the angle and shot it in the net.
Ball back over to Matthias. Matthias into the air, looking to try and find something for his team. Gets a flip reset, but ends up accomplishing nothing for his team. Ball back to Papa Dragon, over to the corner. Now back over to Bob the Builder, trying to maintain possession, taking it back to his own corner. Looking for a flick off the wall, gets it past one, but it's going to be back in the hands of JR. JR back to Pasta. Pasta, though, gets beat. It's going to be back into the hands of Bob the Builder. It leaves it for Matthias. And even though we're seeing some pressure here from Team Black, they aren't scoring this time.
Yeah, they only have 2 minutes left to try and score 3 goals, so every second matters. Every single hit, they have to have a plan when getting these hits. Try and get these goals, try and get these team plays, because they can definitely score on them, but it's just relentless offense from JR and Co. They're just putting pressure upon pressure, because they know that if they just try and play defense and bottle up, and they can get... These players have incredible mechanics, so you cannot give them any space or time.
Exactly. Now with a minute and a half left to go, can they do it? Honestly, at the moment in time, as long as Team Black continues to play the game that they're playing, I don't think they can lose. And even though JR, he definitely stepped at the beginning of this match, he can pretty much go full monkey now.
No.
And most likely will probably lead to his team winning this series.
What's crazy about this game, though, is JR, he is on the bottom of the scoreline. He has 200 points. His teammate have both over almost about 300 points. So he is in this play, but he's not carrying them this game. This is the game that had the widest scoreline. So it just goes to show that team-based playing is better. As more passes come through from this team, trying to get involved every single player.
Exactly, but now ball's going to be back over to JR. JR still probably going to be looking for a clip or two, but Cannoli and Pasta, they're definitely people you have to remember. And even though we're not seeing an MVP level performance as we saw out of Azriel from JR, the team level performance that we're now seeing from Team Black is definitely why they're getting this win here.
In most places, you really don't want to see an MVP performance from one certain player. You want to see it from the entire team. Of course, it's good to have those shining players who are just able to step up for their team in certain situations, but you want to see a team that has just incredible team-based playstyle where each player is just matched with each other and they know how each other work and play.
Oh, that's going to be a miss there on the goal line there from Papa Dragon. That pretty much is going to solidify the deal. Team Black winning the series 3-1. Weren't able to do it in a sweep, but they still did it in 4. And remember, everybody, we still have one more series after this. However, this time is going to be a match from the lowers. Team Lime ended up getting a free win since Team Red ended up not showing up to their match once again, but we still have one more match after this to see who's going to be eliminated from the tournament and who's going to get a chance to get to the playoffs next week.
Bob the Builder just padding the stats, trying to get some goals in, a little bit of consolation goals. This is a close game. I'd say the substitute was a positive substitute, but they just couldn't get it in time.